DJ Uzi, DJ Uzi. DJ Uzi, DJ Uzi.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be back. Thank you for everyone who is still subscribed to me. It has been a long time coming. This semester had a lot of trials and tribulations, and I was not able to record as much as I wanted to just because of the busyness that comes with being a 2L in law school. But I am back in order to give you the recap of just how this semester has gone, because boy, I've seen so many times where I was just like, I am ready to be done this. But you guys should be happy to know that I have gotten done halfway. Well, I'm halfway done law school now, so pat on the back. But let me just go through a lot of the things that happened this semester, since I know that I'm trying to think all the way from the beginning. I know I gave you guys a video in the beginning of the semester just telling you all the bad things that were happening. If you haven't watched that video, you'll see it like right here above, so definitely go check that out so you can know what I'm referring to. I also did try to record a video as well, but I actually did record a video but never actually posted it because I didn't have enough time to edit it, which I will still put out. It'll be something like Lost Files or whatever the case may be. But I trying to see, where should I start? Let's see. All right, I guess first I'll start with my classes for this semester. It's always great to start with the classes, right? This semester I took, that's crazy. When I tell you I'm just so dissociated with school, that's like, what did I take this semester? Okay, so what I took this semester was entertainment law, video game law, intellectual property, constitutional law 2, and trust and estates. And I took an externship. My externship was at the Office of General Counsel. It was really exciting to see what an in-house attorney did, because I know like people say, oh, if you want to go through the entertainment route, typically people go through big law and then go to an in-house position, because the in-house position is a like better work-life balance, should I say. But obviously in big law, it depends on what firm you are in order to determine how long you're going to be working, well, how many hours you're going to be working. So that was like a really fun experience. But before I hop into like just that experience doing the externship, I think I should start in with the classes. I was so excited this beginning of the semester because I was able to get into 3 of the classes that focused on the career that I'm hoping to get into, the entertainment space. My entertainment class was so amazing. My professor was really great. He talked a lot off the dome, and I thought that was like really interesting just as far as how much he could remember. And he also was from Philly as well, so I was like, okay, Philly repping. But yeah, the class and conversation was really great. I will raise my hand sometimes and definitely get the answer wrong, but you got to keep pushing forward, you know. For my video game law class, that was actually a really interesting class as well, because I know like my brother, he does video game design. Well, he went to school for it and he's like created his own game. So being able to take a dive into his area of expertise on learning the legal side, and I like playing video games as well, so to figure out, oh well, is this copyrightable, trademark, name, likeness, all in those video games, and what goes into not essentially creating a video game, but everything that goes together in order to make the video game available to the public, essentially. So that was like really exciting to see and to listen to. And that class was like really small. I feel like we only had about 6 people, including me. So I feel like small classes are really more intimate, which I like, because it's just like we have family at this point. But my intellectual property class, that was an interesting class because it's just like the big umbrella of like what entertainment is under, what video game is under, video game law is under, and just essentially being able to see the broad scope of these different compartments. And when I say different compartments, I mean like copyright, trademark, patents. I feel like I would be dealing more so with copyright and trademarks. I really don't care for patents that much. Not really a big science person. Hence why I didn't go to medical school. But yeah, so it. I'll just say that it was a interesting class. I had a lot of my friends in that class, and boy, was it a semester in that sense. And when I say it was a semester, I just simply mean like we had a lot of reading each class. So we had this class twice a week, and like we would get assigned like 70 pages each class. Like we didn't have any other classes. And I think that goes into the stress of what I'm saying as far as not being able to record as much because of the fact that I had so much reading to do in each class. People say your 1L year is the most hardest year because it's like you're in this new territory. They're throwing you in. You have to learn how to do certain things, how to read an opinion. You have to know how to do a case brief if you want to do case briefs and really be able to break that legal jargon down. And that's really what the first year was about. But now, in the second year, they're just simply like, okay, we've given you this knowledge of how to do things, and so it should be nothing. You would think, right? No. Why would you give me all this reading? And like the readings, my Con Law 2 professor, he started in the middle of the book because it's Con Law 2. So we covered Con Law 1 last semester. So essentially half of that book has already been covered. He literally did middle of the book to the end of the book. Mind you, it's like 1,200 pages in that book. And I was just like, with all the stuff that was going on, because I think I told you guys I was stuck in the storage trying to move and things of that sort. So it was just a lot trying to keep up. Trust in the States was actually really interesting to me as well. I know a lot of people who have taken Trust in the States say like, oh, I really don't care for it, because what is it? They find it boring. But I used to work at Prudential, an insurance company, and we dealt a lot with like trusts and estates and things of that sort. But I really didn't understand the legal mechanics behind it. So going to class and really learning, oh well, when something is going through probate, and probate is just simply going through the courts as far as for wills and trying to make sure that a will is essentially valid in order for whatever that person, the testator, they like to say, has left to the people they want to have their items, specific items, essentially. So I thought it was like it came full circle for me just being in that class, and I feel like I learned a lot of information that is helpful to pass to your family members and just really knowing how to invest. You have a trust, what is a trust, and things of that sort. So I think that was like really a beneficial class just generally for life. And I know that I want to take the New York bar, so I know that's still probably going to be an essay question, and I want to be able to have that knowledge, at least being familiar with it. And then when I'm going to study for trust and estates, it'll just be like a refresher, because that's like my goal, to make sure that I am essentially covering the materials that will be on the bar, even though I'm going to be reviewing them again. So trust in estates was like really interesting to me. And then the professor I had him last year for property, so I already know that he's like a real cool, chill professor. He doesn't really cold call or anything like that. So it was like really comforting to be in that class just when I was going through like every different thing. I'm trying to think. Con Law 2 actually was very interesting as well. We went over the 14th Amendment and just talked a little bit about the different, not a little bit, we talked about each different section of the 14th Amendment, along with some other amendments in the Constitution and how the courts have analyzed it and how it has developed over time. So that was really interesting to me, just learning about the Reconstruction Amendments and just essentially how the court was thinking about those things and how the court can be very contradicting. And that's about it. I don't always have to give like this long explanation of just everything. But yeah, that was like my semester as far as classes in a nutshell. I will talk a little bit about what classes I'll have next semester. Oh, matter of fact, sorry, rewind. Not yet. I need to go into my externship. That's still a part of like my classes. So I took an externship and I was required to do an externship class that just was like a waste of time in my opinion, if I'm being completely honest. Like I understand essentially we are doing these classes to be able to talk to other students who are in different externships and to learn about what others are doing. But I feel like, and we didn't have the class every week, so that was really great. But I feel like the reflection papers, like I understand you're trying to see what we're doing, but like a lot of the time you can't really talk about what you're doing at your placement because it's a huge confidentiality thing in the legal field that you just can't talk about what you're working on. So it just felt like a lot just doing reflection papers, and then it was only one credit class, and then to be hit with a 5 to 6 page paper, well, 5 to 7 page paper at the end of the semester as well. It was just like, I feel like much more than it needed to be, essentially. And I'll definitely get into finals as well. But with my placement, I met my awesome supervisor. She just has been so helpful to me, like throughout the whole semester. I just love her. I'm not gonna put her name out here or anything, but I told her what I wanted. I told her what I was interested in as far as like entertainment and things of that sort. And she gave me projects that would deal with things you do in the entertainment world, like copyrights. And you would think, okay, working for a school in house, well, how are you going to contribute that to like entertainment? The thing is, being a general counsel, you're basically an attorney who knows like a little of everything essentially, right? Because you're dealing with all the legal issues that that entity has to handle. You're working for an entity, you're not working for a person. You're trying to do what's in the best interests of the company you're working for. So I was able to look a lot at contracts and realizing, oh, you have to be really specific when you're looking at contract. What are the words in a contract? Because when you go to court and if somebody tries to dispute what's in the contract, that's what the court is going to look to. You know, sometimes courts will look at extrinsic evidence in order to better understand the contract, but that like really depends. Usually modern courts do go towards the Corbin method, which does allow extrinsic evidence in order to help support the terms in a contract, but you don't want to have to go through all that. You want to make sure what you mean is actually said in the contract and cannot mean something different, essentially. So it was really nice to get a lot of exposure with contracts. I learned a lot about the Second Circuit opinion on Internet Archives. And I did like a whole paper on it in my intellectual property class, and I did a presentation on it for my externship. And if many of you guys don't know about this case, it's just simply the Second Circuit opinion. So it's in New York, that's what a Second Circuit is. They ruled that Internet Archives did not constitute fair use. And fair use essentially says like, okay, it's essentially copyright infringement, but the court say it's okay for a list of 4 different reasons. If you want to know more about it, I could do a separate video on that, but I'm just trying to give you a general gist of like what my research was about. And so these Internet Archives would upload copyrighted material and just disperse it for free, but on a like lending services. So like they did a lot of partnerships with libraries and they would do a 1-to-1. So if the library had a physical copy, then essentially you can let someone borrow it through the Internet Archive, but you would have to take it off of circulation in the library. When the COVID hit, obviously a lot of people weren't able to go to the library because the city was shut down everywhere. So the lending 1-to-1 ratio got out of hand, whereas though they were letting multiple people borrow lots of books. And that's when the publishers sued them saying like, no, you are infringing, your copyright infringing, and it's not fair use for you to be able to do this. And the court agreed, essentially. So it was like really interesting, just doing a research project on that, and trying to think of myself and what do I think about. Do I think that is fair use? I don't think it's fair use. But I think the Internet Archives was doing a lot of greatness because of the fact that people didn't have accessibility to the materials, such as like being in the library to be able to read those books. But, such is life. If you guys want to hear more about my research, just let me know. But I also got to read like entertainment contracts, which is like really fun. And I'm like, oh, okay. Learning about different clauses you should have in your contract, modifications and things of that sort. So it gave me like a taste of something like really real, because remember last year, if you guys don't know, probably have the video up here, a recap video, just as far as how I enjoyed contracts. Contracts was something that was really interesting to me. So to be able to have that exposure to real contracts and be able to read them was something so exciting to me. So I'm just like so excited. Also, if you see the quality in this video, my mama got me a camera. That's what your girl did. And maybe, just maybe, not making any problem, I really do want to vlog, you guys. I really do. But I got like a vlogging camera, and the quality is about to be lit. And just stay tuned. But I just wanted to point that out just sometime in my video, So anyway, I guess I can go into finals, and then I'll go into what are some big things that I've been doing this semester, because I'm like so excited to tell you guys, and different opportunities that has been presented to me essentially. But finals was a beast. And I'm just like, I don't know what was the difference from this year versus like last year finals, but I found myself in the library studying like 12 hours a day. It was crazy. Why am I in the library this long? Why am I studying this long? And it really started to take an effect on my mental health. But mind you, I only had 3 finals this semester, and I had 6 papers, bro. Yeah, you heard me right. 6 papers. A good thing, let me preface this. 3 of the papers are going to be used as like my required papers that I'm going to need to graduate. So we're required to do 4 papers. And I'm essentially got done 4 of them before. I essentially did 3 of them before for this semester. And I'll have 1 more left in order to graduate. But let's get back into it. My video game law professor, the students in our class asked, could we do a paper, because they were trying to get a short paper requirement. So she was like, okay, let me ask. She asked, and they said, okay. Her paper was 5 to 7 pages. I essentially wrote about like streamers, and if them streaming video game content on platforms like Twitch, would it be considered fair use, essentially. That had to be 5 to 7 pages. I did another paper for my entertainment class. He always has a paper, and it's 7 to 11 pages that I had to write. And I wrote about the Drake versus UMG petition, and just like my thoughts of how I felt like that case was going to turn out. My entertainment professor is a really big music guy. He's like kind of a big deal or whatever. So I feel like, man, I had to write the paper probably a little bit more better, just like expectations wise, and myself, I did the best I can. That's all I can do. But for my intellectual property class, like I said, I did a Second Circuit opinion and just analyzing that case, and it had to be 10 to 15 pages. So that beast right there, that almost took me out. And having to study for 3 finals. And of course, I tried to study like the month before, but for some reason it never works out that way. But I be trying, you guys. I really do. But I really be trying. But the finals came around. Our Thanksgiving break was actually the last week of November, which took us into December still having classes. I didn't understand why they still had us having classes, because it's just like they take away our reading week. If you don't know what a reading week is essentially they give you a whole week to essentially look over your materials and be able to have extra study time. But I guess since we're in our second year of law school, they don't believe in that no more. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. But that was the life. In the classes that we had that last week, essentially just had review sessions. So that was great. We were able to ask any questions that we needed to. But yeah, that was finals, and then the last paper I had to write was the 5 to 7 page paper with my externship class that I was telling you guys about, just like feeling like it was unnecessary, and I just don't know what they were doing or their hopes in that sense. But yeah, that's that. Also, I had 2 reflection papers that I never did, and I believe the reflection papers had to be about 1 to 2 pages. But like to try to do all that, especially studying for finals, it was like real crazy. That's the papers portion. My trust in the states class. I feel like I looked at one of his practice exams and I was like, I got scared immediately because I didn't know what he wanted from me in those practice exams. But I was talking to some students and they were saying that it probably would be more so like the more recent test that he had released, saying that like for us to use as practice. And I'm like, okay. And then after like breaking down, I did have a study partner, Cheyenne, if you're watching this. You did that, girl. And Michaela, she came in sometimes too. So yeah, we did a little bit of studying, and like actually broke down the question of how to do it and to take practice questions essentially. Trust in the States exam. I go to the Trust in the States exam and I'm like, I was more afraid of me not being able to know the material that was actually in the exam. But I never thought time was going to be a problem for me because I finished all my exams out last year. Why I do the exam and before I know it, it's 5 minutes and I got a whole back page that I haven't touched. I said, oh my God. Your girl's done. I did not finish that exam. And then my friend was telling me that somebody else didn't finish the exam either and he got a B plus. Don't know if that's going to be my experience or my reality, you know. But I'm definitely not going to fail. That's what I will tell you about any of my exams. It may not be the grade I want, but I'm not failing. Let's just say that. So, yeah. Trust in the States exam, I did not finish that. And that I was devastated because I'm just like, why is life this way? But you know, you live and you learn. My constitutional law exam, that was open book. So you're like, yeah, we got this, whatever. We drafted, we didn't draft an answer. That was where we messed up. We did a template of how, like, what were the different issues that we can find in the long essay. He said he was going to give us 2 issues and to only talk about that issue. If we talk about something outside of that issue, that's wrong. So we're thinking like, okay, well, these are the different legal issues that can appear possibly that he may want us to talk about. But what it messed up at is we didn't write an answer in order to support how we felt so that we could have brought that on the test because we could bring essentially anything on the test. So I'm just like, that test, I was trying to like write. I feel like I didn't write enough on the long essay, and each portion was 70 points. So I'm just like, you know? And then I don't know about the multiple choice because I wasn't getting the multiple choice right on the practice question. So, you know, the same thing happened with criminal law because the guy who's my professor right now, he's the same professor as my criminal law, but I actually did exceptionally well on my criminal law multiple choice. Not to say this is the same thing that's going to essentially happen for this one, but yes, that's what happened. I was just like, I don't know. It's up in God's hand. Also, he gave us a midterm and we had to write a letter. So it was like in the form of an MPT, and the MPT is a state professional test. And essentially, this is a portion of the old bar exam that's being replaced with the next gen bar exam. But I'm going to be taking the old bar exam because of the state that I'm going to be taking it in. So they want to get us familiar with that type of testing so that our bar scores will go up. Passage rates will go up more so. So he wanted to give us that. I got a B minus on it, and I was like pretty bummed. Like a 83.75. He could have gave me that 84. But that's another that's another topic for another day. So yeah, I got a B minus on that, and I'm like, I'm going to need to get like a B minus or a B in order to even stay in that range. Since we are in upper level core classes, our curve, not our curve, our median is at a B, you know? So I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen and I can't think about it too much. I just have to deal with it once my grades go out. I'm trying to see if I want to do a reaction video of my grades again. I probably should. You know, I've been transparent with you guys from the jump, so I'm going to be successful either way, no matter what them grades say. But yeah, constitutional law was constitutional law. I was looking at the text. I opened the book up and I saw the first page. I was like, okay, this is easy. I turned to the second page. I said, oh, this is what he was doing. Okay, I understand it. With my IP exam, would you believe I barely did any reading in that class and managed to feel the most confident in that test. I feel like I did a really good job on my essay. I had him read over it so that I can do revisions. And he was like, I really enjoyed reading your paper. And I was just like, bro, just give me an A. Like, I'm up here. With the exam that we had, it's only 25% of our grade, but I feel like I knew each issue that he had up there, and like I explained it to the best of my ability. So it's just like, look, it's going to be what it's going to be on that test. So that was finals in a nutshell. I don't want to have to experience that, but I am going to have 2 hard classes next semester, which I guess this is a perfect time to transition into next year courses. So next year I am scheduled to do the origins of Reconstruction, and that just talks about the Reconstruction Amendments, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. The 13th Amendment is the abolishment of slavery, except for punishment. 14th Amendment is the as a citizen of the United States, you cannot, no one shall essentially, not discriminate, well, they shouldn't discriminate. It's like 2 different things. You can't have your freedoms taken away from you, your liberty taken away from you without due process, and due process without having a hearing. And also equal protection. You cannot be treated differently from anyone based off a characteristic that you may have. They do have 3 different judicial reviews that they review that on, as far as to determine if a law will be passed, if it's violating any of those different things. But yeah, that is what 14th Amendment essentially encompasses. And the 15th Amendment talks about how they allowed black men to be able to vote, but they had a lot of barriers in place, such as like literacy tests. You know, they weren't giving people in slavery education, so they were just trying to find different ways in order to discriminate against black people still. So that class is going to more be like a history class of like everything that was happening essentially around that time when the Reconstruction Amendments were passing. And I think that's like important information to know. So I'm like definitely excited about that class to come along. Also, I'm taking evidence. A lot of people have told me you do not want to learn evidence for the first time when you're doing bar prep. So I'm going to listen to them. I'm not going to learn evidence for the first time on the bar exam. So I'll be taking that class next semester. I'm taking Biz Orgs. That's something else that's going to be tested on the bar exam. That's going to be, I didn't even tell you guys what days it is, but I'm going to just start off by telling you what the classes are. Okay, so business organizations, don't really know what it encompasses, so I don't want to sit here and lie to you guys. Also, I'm taking Justice as a Black Woman. They don't have a description of what that class is going to be about, but I just felt like I needed to be in it because Justice is a Black woman. And I'm going to be taking Legal Professional Responsibilities. Well, I'm not in Connecticut right now, but in Connecticut, if you pass the class with a B and up, I feel like you don't have to take the NPRE. But I am planning to take the NPRE next semester because I want to get a score high enough to use across different states and well, in different jurisdictions, whatever you want to use. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do next semester, and I felt like being in that class while trying to study for it would help me just like learn the information and to get a score that I felt like was sufficient enough for me. And I'm also going to be taking civil justice clinic. That's another one. So I'll be working with people in immigration, just helping them, I think, with their visas and things of that sort. People who are dealing with domestic violence situations and going to court as of right now. I am kind of in between of doing this federal prosecution pro se position because I know that like it's something new that my school is offering, and they told us that essentially it's like doing a clerkship, but you're helping pro se clients. So pro se just means people who essentially represents themselves in court, and that's what you would do. So you would help them with motions, any documents that need to be sent to the court. I don't believe you'll see them in person a lot. You'll just simply be doing Zooms and stuff and probably writing more. And I know as an attorney, you're going to be writing for a lot of it. So any experience I can get becoming a even better legal writer, that's the type of skills that I want to obtain. So that is my gist of what my classes are next semester. I guess I can get into what days and what times. Well, not what times, just what days. So, your girl on Mondays only got one class. Do you know how happy I am? Mondays is about to be, that's how you start a Monday. And at 1 o'clock, period. But that doesn't talk about my jobs and stuff that I got for next semester either. But let's just say your girl only got one class on Monday at 1 o'clock. I'm happy about that. Tuesdays, I have clinic, evidence, and justice as a black woman. On Wednesdays, I have, what is it? Biz orgs, and I feel like there's another, the origins of reconstruction class, business orgs, origins of reconstruction, and I think that's it. I think I only got two classes on Wednesday. If it's a third one, I probably will add it somewhere in this video. But on Thursdays, it mirrors the same exact schedule as Tuesday. Just I don't have justice as a black woman. I'm having the lawyer's professional responsibility class on Thursday. And so Fridays, you know your girl don't got class, but for some way, somehow, I'm going to be busy. So next semester, I'm hoping that I'm able to navigate it better because the way it went this semester, it just was not healthy for me the way I was going. So I'm just like happy to essentially be done this semester and to be halfway through. Also, stay tuned for my graduation party. My graduation party not here yet, but it's gonna be a movie, and I'm gonna get a professional person to record everything, and y'all gonna see that because anybody who been subscribed to me from the beginning of this little law school journey, or who've been commenting all them kind words, or you just send me good omens on Instagram or whatever the case may be, I want you guys to see that and experience that, and I want to record more so that I can be able to look back at just like my journey, because just like I was showing you my journey leading up to get into law school, I want to essentially show you just like my journey throughout law school and just like how it feels to be a law student. So definitely just stay tuned, you guys. Like I'm trying, and thank you so much for like just bearing with me through this like transition in this process. Law school is always first, so if I can't post, then I can't post. And when I can, then I really will try to. But now that I got this little vlogging camera and I got my handheld tripod, you may be seeing a little bit more of me. That's what I want to do. I want to do more things that essentially make me feel good and happy inside. So that's all that on that front. And now we can get into the fun things that I did this semester. I'm so excited. So the first things first, essentially, I told you in the beginning, I have a job. I'm trying to see if I can get money Well, actually, yes. All right. I have a job lined up that I've accepted at this point. It's not in Connecticut. It's somewhere where you probably would never probably think that I would end up at, but let's just say your girl is about to be outside if I decide to go down this path. But I am essentially still looking for positions in the entertainment media space currently. But if it doesn't pan out, then I'm just going to take my opportunities the way it goes and to try to do the best I can, you know? So I am excited to tell you guys about that. I feel like once I'm solidified and just like, okay, I'm gonna stop applying for different jobs, then I'll finally release it. But until then, I just want you guys to know that either way, your girl got a job. Also, this semester I applied to NPR. And I actually got an interview. I don't know if I told you guys previously, but I didn't get offered an interview in the summer for NPR, and it came full circle when I got an interview for this semester for the spring is what I was looking for, because I'm just like, oh, if I can get an internship at NPR, then that could be like great to add to the resume, and I feel like I can learn so much from the organization itself. They still haven't come out with like who they're gonna allow on. I actually do have to reach out to them because the lady told me if you don't hear anything back, doesn't mean that we just didn't choose you. You will get a notification either way. So yeah, I'm just like excited about that. I wanted to tell you guys because yeah, you guys should know about all the big things that are happening. Also, I competed for my Society for Dispute Resolution team at the cinema competition at Cardozo Law School. So that was an experience that was like so great for me. I got to negotiate for my client and it just felt so exhilarating. I felt like when I was going to go in a room that I was just going to freeze up and didn't know what I was supposed to say. But it's like when we sat down and started that clock, I was like, did my little spiel. I was like, girl, you better do it. I want to negotiate in my career. Like, that was such a great, fun experience. And I want to do more things like that in my career. And I want to be able to volunteer and to do more competitions because I feel like the better I can negotiate, the better I can be. So, just that was like so great for me. Also, I'm trying to see if I want to say this. I'll talk about it later in a different video after I see how that pans out. You know, I like to do things first, and then, as you can see with the NPR interview, see how things play out. But I'll still tell you guys eventually. Also, I was the vice president of Balsa, and I found it really interesting just being in this new leadership position and trying to see what was my role, how can I be of best help for my organization, how can I help the president, and just being able to meet so many new black students who have come to my school has been such a great experience. Being able to hear their insights and talk to them while I'm working at the library, and just like we did a Friendsgiving, so that was like really exciting, and I'm just trying to build these different relationships individually. Also, a lot of them are going to convention. I'm going to convention again this year, so I'm extra excited about that. Just like being able to vlog that experience. So now that I have my camera, I should be able to vlog more. But I don't know if I'm be able to have that out as much because you can't be recording people. But yeah, also Beersters, our law school prom, will fall on the weekend before going to convention. So I'm thinking about going there as well, and I don't know what I'm aware. But your girl here gonna have to be late popping because yes. Then my best friend said she probably will come with me as my little date. So I hope that actually pans out and she actually does it, or that she actually was serious about it. So that's really exciting. Also, what else has happened this semester? I've met so many judges, attorneys. I went to dinner with a judge and just was able to take so much from him and just like his experience as an attorney turning into a judge. And he was just like so nice. Like I definitely want to keep in contact with a bunch of people who I met some people from like the negotiation competition in cinema, who works in the industry that I want to be in, and just hearing like their remarks like, oh, you guys did great, you killed it, and just like getting compliments, like Ayana, keep doing that. And I'm like, you see me? You guys see me? So it was just like so exciting an experience to be able to like be able to show my talents and to possible employers essentially. So that was like really great for me. Also, I'm trying to see, did anything else really big happen? I think that's like the big things career wise that has happened. I have just been trying to make healthier decisions for myself and to still work on that self care that makes me feel good inside. I It was a really long semester and it was a really hard semester, and I feel like sometimes people just tell you like, oh, well, just keep pushing, and like this is life, you're gonna go through things because life still goes on during law school, and I feel like life does still go on, but like my mental health took deep dives this semester, and it was like a really scary thing to like just keep a smile on your face and to trick yourself into believing that everything is okay, everything is going to be okay, even when you feel like your world is like burning down essentially. So I'm excited to be through the storm, but it was not enjoyable. Law school can be unenjoyable. Like, I'm not going to say a lot of the time, but there are times where you just don't want to be there. You just want to do everything but. And so to be able to finally be done and to make it through the storm, like, I didn't want you guys to see that, but I guess that's a part of the transparency. I'm not saying that I didn't record specifically for that, but it was just a lot of things going on. I got two jobs this semester. I work at the library and I'm working as a pre-law advisor as well. And I'm trying to see what are the right decisions to make. You see people on LinkedIn doing law clerk, a law clerk. So should I be a law clerk? Is this the experience I should be getting from law firms in order to better myself or to look like a more interesting candidate to like firms? Because I do essentially feel like I want to start off in a firm because I hear a lot of people say you gain a lot of great skills, and preferably in a big city. I'm a city girl. I like to have a bunch of different options of things that I can do. And I don't know if I said it on this channel, but I don't have an end destination right now where I see myself. All I know is I want to do things that I want to do. I want to explore the world. I want to have different experiences, and that's just not in one place yet. Maybe I'll go stay in one place and be like, oh yeah, this is for me. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so, yeah, I'm again just happy to be through the storm. And if there is something that I missed in this video that you want to know more about that I did not cover, then just let me know. Again, that video on the grade reveal and the reaction may come. It will come. It will come. I just gotta make sure not to look at the grades. I kind of want to wait until all my grades come in so I can just give you that one full reaction and be like, okay, yeah, I saw that. I'm pissed or I'm happy. This is life. Emotions go up and down. But I just want to say again, thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I know I just be chatting, talking for long periods of time, but your girl got so much to say. So again, just thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel. And again, if you like my content, then definitely put the like, the comments, and subscribe. And also, I was thinking about doing a live video so I can talk to you guys on like real time. So if you guys want me to do a live and would like to communicate with me personally, then definitely drop down what times and dates more so times and what day of the week works best for you, and I can see if that works best with my schedule, and then I'll schedule a time to talk to you guys. So, and you guys can ask me all the questions that you would like, because I love just talking to you guys and meeting different people. It's just so fun. So again, thank you so much. I'm happy to make it this far, and see you guys soon.